Hey, good day guys. Today I'm going to teach how to detail trusses. Here's a model with a few trusses. So we're going to detail this truss. The first thing to do is have a look at the truss itself. For that I'm going to select the assemblies, click on that one, select the assembly and create a 3D view. And then view it in plan. So that's the truss, and I select that, and now you can also see the wells. Let's have a look at the wells. All of them are 6 mm wells. Look at the features. There are a few cleats there. What is at the bottom? Let me have a look. Okay, a couple of cleats here, few bolts there. The wells are 4 mm and 6 mm. Okay, 6 mm there, 6 mm there, 4 mm, 4 mm at the bottom. So we got to annotate those wells. Standard 6 mm wells are covered by a gel note. 4 mm or anything different to 6 mm fillet well should be annotated. The other thing to note is all these diagonals, they need not be placed very accurately in relation to the ends of the truss. It can be approximately placed. So that's all. You don't need to dimension every single diagonal placement. It's not required. Even this one need not dimension the location of this very accurately. So what is accurately required is the end plates in relation to the top and bottom chord. This plate, that is required because there may be some bolts there. I'm not showing the bolts here on this one, but the location of that will be important. And all these cleats, there are bolts here. I haven't shown the bolts there, and these cleats, those are required to be placed very accurately. Also, let's look at what is typical. That cleat is typical. All the purling cleats are typical. Anything else special? Okay, here is a feature which is slightly different, not repeating. Okay, there's another one at the top. Anything else? Let's have a look. Yeah, here is another cleat. Is there any similar cleat anywhere else? Yeah, there's another one that's repeating twice. So have a look at the model first, study that before you start detailing. That's very important. Now to detail this truss and the diagonals, let's start with the diagonals. What am I going to dimension there? Probably I will give a dimension from this point to this point, this point to this point, and this point to this point, and this point to this point. That's all I'm going to give. I'm not going to give any more dimensions for the diagonals. That's the only dimension I'm going to give. And then for this end plate, I'm going to give a dimension from the top chord to here. But let's see whether these bolts are similar. This plate is symmetric. No, it is not symmetric. So I'm going to give a dimension. So I'm going to look there like that, and then this edge will be visible. So I'm going to put a dimension from this edge to the bottom of this plate, and also dimension this bolt to this plate so that they know which way it is turning. This plate looks symmetric. I'll check it. If it's symmetric, I'll just write centered. And let's look at this one. Well, I can't see the bolts. Let me delete and undelete just to see the bolts. Yeah, there are 2 bolts there. So are they symmetric? They look symmetric. I'll check on the drawing whether it is a symmetric. These dimensions are symmetric. If it's symmetric, I will add a dimension from here to the bottom only, no other dimension. Now for these cleats, I will dimension the I'll give a dimension from the start point, from here, from this point to that cleat, and also I will put a they look perpendicular to that, so I will dimension to the connection side, and that will be a running dimension up to this point. Now for this one is just an outrigger, and the location and where it is not so very important. But let's look at this one. Okay, so that one is holding up a purlin. So this one has to be locked. So how will I lock it? That's a question. So I'm going to give a dimension from the top of this cord to these points, and also the slope of this. Is that centered? Yeah, it looks like centered. So that is the study of the model itself. I will annotate one weld here and then call that as typical. The next thing I do is I need to select a template, which I have selected a truss template. I'm going to look at the layout. So that's the layout, assembly layout, size, specified size, and the sheet size is 410 by 287. Is that sufficient? Is there too many details? Possibly it's sufficient. I'll have to check and see whether that's okay. Now let's look at the view creation. Front view is on. Top view I've turned off. Why I have to turn off the top view? Top view is in a truss is generally not very useful. So that's turned off. End views here is off. Sometimes it's useful. Section is on. So I might have to turn it on later. But let me create the drawing first and check. So I apply and say OK. So to check that, I am going to select the top chord, which is the main part, and then right click, create view on part plane, front plane. Well, I got the plan view of the truss, so that's not what I need. So I might have to change that setting. Okay, so the rotation of the main part was not what I wanted in the model. So I'm not going to change the model, I'm going to deal with that in the drawing. So I am going to set the template, the truss template. I'm going to set the front view off and top view on, and then create the drawing. Apply, OK, and I already created the drawing. Let's have a look at the drawing. So that's the drawing. And because of the rotation of the main part, the truss is drawn now upside down. So I'm going to correct the drawing so that the top chord is at the top and the cleats are at the top. So how do I do that? I'm going to do that by rotating by 180 degree. And here is the basic truss drawing, and that's what we are going to detail now. Next, I added the part mark for these diagonals. I selected all the diagonals and I added a part mark, and all of them are same, so 18 of them, and I aligned it along the diagonal but with a smaller font because it's too big otherwise. Next, I had to deal with this cleat. Tekla has already put some part mark. They are all same. I don't want to label everything if they are all the same. So I'm going to delete it and redo it. So there are 14 cleats, so I'm going to add a text here for that. So there are 14 cleats, so I added a text, so I don't have to go and label everything. Reduces clutter. The next thing I am going to dimension is this part, that's the FBCT. How many of them? 1, 2, 3, 3 of them. I just delete all of them. Then add, how many are there? FBCT. Here, I'm going to add a text here. So I have dimensioned this one, what's that part mark? About 26. Now I think only the cleats are remaining. No, BC, this one is remaining. So I have to dimension that one. I also have to log the position of that one. So, okay, next I am going to locate the BC20. So I'm going to dimension that from here, and also going to take a section, and there are 2 of them. They are typical. I check in the model. Let me look at the model first. Are they typical? It's one there. It's one here. I check the dimensions whether they are typical. If they are typical, they are typical. So I'll only dimension one place if it's typical, and I'll just add a note, typical. Okay, so let me do that. I'm going to take a section first. So I have located that one. Linearly I have to dimension as well, so I'll go there. I am going to use that sort of dimensioning. I'm going to go from the top corner to the center of the hole, and also to the center of the hole. Center of the hole may not be very good. I might have to add an edge as well, because it's easier to place with the edge rather than on the hole, but I'll keep that center of the hole dimension there. So that's that dimension. So that's fixed. Now I have to dimension the cleats and the end plates. So let's do that one. So I'm going to go with the cleat, starting from here. Now I have to place the end plates and also the overall chord distance. Let me do the bar distance. So that's that one. Also I move these labels so that they're very clear. This, otherwise this label leader was somewhere here and more clearly visible. I'm going to take a section here now. So all I am interested is to log the end plate, so I can hide everything else in this view. I don't want any of that, so delete all of that. All I need is the top and bottom chord. With that I can log the end plate. So everything else I can hide. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, I've hidden everything except the end plate and the 2 chords. I label this one because I'm going to dimension from this chord, so I'm going to label that, add mark, view property, so I added that one, and then I'm going to add a vertical dimension. And that locks that one, but I also have to add certain dimensions here. Same thing, I'm going to hide everything except the top and bottom chord. In this case, I'm going to dimension from the bottom chord, because why? Because the bottom of the bottom chord is visible in this view, while if I go to the top of the top chord is hidden. So I'm going to dimension here. So go to dimensions, vertical, here to here, just to make sure, because this plate is not symmetric, I'm going to add another dimension from this hole to the bottom. Now for the view itself, I have to make it a bit bigger. So that locks that plate in that relation to the top and bottom chord. I'll add some part mark and also add part mark for the bottom chord. So that's it. So that locks it. Now to set the position of the top and bottom chord in relation with each other, you can either dimension right there, or I took a view, hid everything, and then put a dimension here, which is more clear to me. I'll also add an angle, so come here. Well, I can't pick that up, so I'm going to tab. Yeah, got the angle. Pick that one and add the dimension there, and change that 2 degrees vertex angle, modify. So I got that one. I will also add an angle.